Brody on the line, I'm tapping in. God out here pulling the strings for me. A girl on the line, she feeling me. Preoccupied by the motivation. Put in the time, pay the entry fee. Bro on the rise, yeah, he kinda nice. Inside of my mind, no one's real as me. Lately, life has been gorgeous. Wake up to clear, my eyes hit record. Praise up to God, I ain't chasing no bitch. Swinging and miss, got me hitting these licks. I get the orders, don't get it distorted. Disconnected, I've been cordless, I've been cordial, I've been exploring. I got a whole lot, but somehow I want more of it.
Fam, what's going on? Now listen, if y'all can't hear me, y'all gonna have to say something because I can't see nothing, and all of y'all are going to be my eyes and ears in terms of what is working and what ain't working. Ain't no other way to do it. I got too much stuff around. Hold on. Oh, see, now I'm loud. See, now I'm down. And so when the callers come in, I know somebody's like, ain't nobody tell Yvette that the callers was low. Yes, they did, and I tried to get it right, and I didn't. That's on me, that ain't on them. So please, fam, take the time out to please hit that like button. I was on the call with the tech person today for like so long. It's just tiring, I tell you, but you got to do what you got to do, right? That's what you got to do. So that's where we are, fam. That's where we are. I want y'all to take the time out to please hit that like button for me. Please share. Please do all that with the rest of the family. I would absolutely appreciate it. What's going on here? That's very odd. But anyway, please do all that, fam. I'd appreciate it. And let me know if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, let me pull this thing up so I can see the chat. If you cannot hear or hear well, this is our time to kind of get that thing right, okay? We ain't gonna have too many more occasions to do that. But I just had to come in here because I missed yesterday because of some other stuff. The same thing with the same tech stuff and everything going on. So I missed some stuff. So I come back in here so we can have a conversation because we always have the conversation. I'm not gonna keep you too long. I know it's 10 o'clock at night. But you know, I'm a woman of my word. So it's just in me to do the right thing when I have to do the right thing, especially by my own people. We ain't talking about nobody else up in here. We talking about my people. So Fam, I just want to have a quick conversation about some stuff that I want to make sure doesn't go misunderstood. There's some stuff that I want to make sure everybody understands. They don't misunderstand. When you misunderstand, you have a problem. So I want to make sure everybody doesn't misunderstand. Now, let me bring up some stuff here. Well, right here, you know, we had this whole thing with Harvard. And everybody said, oh, you Negroes are they never gonna do nothing. Now we still don't know what's gonna happen. This fight ain't over, right? But now they reviewing stuff. This paper is currently under review. Post-publication review. Well, let me tell you why that might happen. That might happen because you lied all the way through the thing. I don't know. That's why it might happen. But I want to have a conversation about that too, because people don't understand. And I haven't really had a conversation about it because we've been working with teams. We've been working hard. We've been doing a lot of stuff. So I haven't really had a conversation about. I tried to do a little bit of it at the town hall. Shout out to everybody who was at the town hall. That was wonderful. It was great. It was alive. And we had a great time. Because we are family. This is community. This is tribe. This is not just one thing. But I wanted to kind of break something else down about, since we're doing this show tonight, about why what happened had to happen. I want to do that. Because some people still, I don't know whether they stupid or they just, you either stupid or you think I'm stupid. I don't know which one it is, but we're going to figure it out. So, when this happened, a lot of people didn't understand why. And I want to go back. I want to take everybody through a little bit of a journey. Not much, because like I said, I'm going to keep my promise. We're not going to be here that long. People got to get up and go to work. We're going to be here tomorrow again anyway, right? But I want everybody to be clear on something. There's some stuff everybody got to be clear on. Let me make sure that everybody's clear on something. Whoop, that went too high. Y'all got to stay with me. I want to make sure that everybody's clear on something. Now, you see, Louisiana, let me bring this up a little bit bigger for everybody who don't see and everybody who is not still here. And shout out to everybody who helped our family who was going through things. Louisiana is still reeling from Hurricane Ida. New deaths are still being reported. More than 500,000 remain powerless, among other problems. Now, just stay right there with me. Just stay right there with me. Don't go nowhere. Don't run off. Now, I circled the date so that you can see when that date is and when and what's going on. I circled the date for a reason. Now, I want you to understand something. Too many lights in here. I'm hot. I want you to understand something. We're still a bottom cast. But I want you to understand what's happening. What they're doing now is saying, we're not really going to talk about all that. Yeah, we talked about Katrina. The waters came in. We had a lot of visuals and stuff like that. But we're really not all that interested in reporting on this the way it needs to be reported. Because you can't find this article everywhere. And let me tell you what it means. When somebody says, we don't have no waters. We don't have any electricity. What that also means is that if you're on food stamps, you can't use your little debit card to pay for stuff. That's also what that means. I don't think we understand the repercussions of that. Did y'all see that Instagram video going around where the people were allegedly looting and there was a man on top of the building with a gun? It was his shop. There was some talks about his ethnicity versus other people. I don't know, so I'm not going to talk about it. But do y'all remember that? Did y'all see that? If you didn't see that, make sure you check that out. Check it out because it's important. What happens in these situations is that the streets got to eat. And when you leave people with no other avenue to eat than to do something they otherwise wouldn't do, stuff gets dangerous. You got people hot, it's mold, it's rain, it's a hurricane in their own house. And like FEMA's just now getting there talking about, well, we got some things, but not other things. Nobody really wants to talk about the consequence of that. So let's just go a little bit further because we're going to get down to it. You know, we always get down to the nitty and the gritty. That's what we do around here. Power is expected to be restored to all of Orleans parishes by Wednesday, but other areas, particularly along the hard-hit coastline, may not have electricity for weeks. This is a recent article. Y'all saw me circle it. One of the main energy companies in the region said that more than 22,000 electricity poles and more than 5,200 transformers had either been damaged or destroyed by Ida. Pay attention. With the area suffering under a heat advisory, New Orleans has been transporting people to air-conditioned shelters, and this is recent, beyond the city and state. But understand what happens when you do that. A lot of people don't be want to leave their house because when you leave your house, what happens? What do you take a chance of happening, fam? You take a chance of getting robbed. You take a chance of when you come back to your house, everything's getting stolen. Don't you? Y'all all know it. FEMA has announced that evacuation aid was available to area residents who need to relocate to hotels to escape the heat, because it's a heat wave right now. Let me go on to the next one real quick. It's a heat wave. It's a heat wave. What that thing wants? See, this stuff just don't act right. Technology is a problem sometimes. Let me go on to the next one right here. Parts of southeastern Louisiana and southern Mississippi, including Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Gulfport, are under a heat advisory, as high temperatures will be in the upper 80s and lower 90s, with a heat index between 100 and 105 degrees. Not only that, they left New Orleans seniors there to fend for themselves, it seems. That's something else that it actually happened. You would not believe it, would you? Would you believe it? It's a thing that actually happened. That is what is happening in our community. So I just don't want y'all to get confused. When we talk about the Harvard and people say, oh my gosh, why is Yvette and them so upset about that Harvard stuff? That ain't nothing. That ain't no big deal. Y'all should just move on. Y'all should not even deal with that. Y'all should just ignore that. What's wrong with y'all? Because nobody gets to tell my story. And nobody gets to tell my people's story. And if there's ever a time that you ever wanted to fight with Yvette Denise CARNELL, it's if you try to tell my story or my people's story. You don't get to do that. And this right here is a story. From Katrina to now, this is a story. This is a story of struggle and plunder. This is our narrative, and the narrative is truth. And you don't get to tell it or retell it. So I'm mad at Harvard or anybody else who thinks that they can tell the story of my people and lie on my people. That is something that should not be condoned or abided by. It just shouldn't. I remember, let me just take this off for just a second. So because I just have to say something, because, I remember when Katrina happened. I remember when people were being called refugees. My people in Louisiana were called refugees. Oh, they're refugees coming from state to state. No, state to state. That's you going from a part of your country that's to another part of your country. You're not a refugee going state to state. But see, y'all have decided that we're outsiders anyway. And so any chance you get to submit that narrative that we don't belong here, you're going to take it. I understand. It ain't right, but I understand. So when you talk about Harvard, part of the problem with, and the reason we have been doing what we're doing in terms of, hey, retract that nonsense you said, so that everybody can't use that as some kind of bludgeon against us. Part of the reason we're doing that is because by what right do you get to lie about us? You said unsubstantiated claims. You said stuff about us that's not true. And in terms of our rebuttal, is if you haven't read the rebuttal, it's up on the ADOS Foundation website. Go read it. You don't get to say stuff about me or my people that's not true. We control our own narrative. We get to tell our own history. That's the thing, fam. Nobody gets to tell us, well, if you don't go along with this, you're not a part of the Democratic platform, so you can't. I don't care about what you're talking about. My people, my story, we get to tell it to build your wealth and to build your school. We owe you nothing. You owe us everything. Right? So let's just get down to it. Let's just talk about it. You know, to the victor go the spoils, and the victors get to write history. To the vanquished goes nothing. And the vanquished get nothing. And we're going to switch that around. Because we're not going to be vanquished no more. And we're not going to be just doing anything no more. We're not doing that. So let's just go on to the next. Let's just move on a little bit. Because I promise y'all this wasn't going to be too long. We saw this. And let's go to this now. Because I want to talk about, I really want to, there's some things I really want to talk about. That just don't make no sense to me. Hold on. Let me get this right. Ooh, all this new technology is just going to drive me into fits. Okay. White House asks Congress for billions in emergency funds for Afghan resettlement. Write that down. No, I didn't mispronounce nothing. When I said billions, that's what it is. I didn't say nothing wrong. Billions. What'll it be? Just hold your mule for a second and think about that. Billions with a B. Did that slip under your radar? Did you not see it? They depend on us. They rely on us not seeing it. And not understanding what it has to do or how it has an impact on our lives. So let's just read a little bit of it, shall we? I know people try to say we don't read, but we do. And we're finna read this right here and right now. In a spending request Tuesday, outlining urgent needs, President Joe Biden's administration asked Congress to authorize $6.4 billion with a B for Afghan resettlement efforts 1 week after the U.S. extended its military efforts in Afghanistan. The U.S. is currently working to resettle Afghan allies evacuated from the war-torn country. The White House officials also requested at least $10 billion for recovery efforts from Hurricane Ida. Now, wait a minute. $10 billion ain't that far away from 6.4. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me what you are authorizing for a hurricane from American citizens is very close to what you are authorizing for Afghan refugees? But wait a minute, too. Hold on 1 second, please. 1 second, please. Uno momento. Everybody told me, I don't know what they told you, fam, but everybody told me we were going into Afghanistan to get rid of the Taliban. We were going to get rid of the Taliban. They awful. We're going to show a little bit about that too. They awful that Taliban. And they are. I agree with that. I ain't got no love for them people running around. I haven't got no child, please. But they told us, well, we go free the women and children, and we go free everybody. We're going to supplant it with a Western government where they have democracy and they can vote and do all that. We're going to oust the Taliban. That's what they said. The Taliban runs the country now. Same as always. They got pictures. They throwing up gang signs. They run the country. They run Afghanistan. Same as they did before America came there. So that all that $2 trillion or whatever we spent, and I think it was more than that, because a bunch of money, in all these wars, a bunch of money gets stolen too, and don't nobody know where it went. Well, somebody was supposed to have this money, but the money gone. I don't know where it went. Oh, Lord, let me clutch my pearls. We don't know. Remember when Iraq, when all that money got missing? It was a bunch. It was billions of cash dollars. Everybody check their pockets. Don't nobody know. We know. You all created new billionaires, new multimillionaires, and new multimillionaire companies. We all know. Don't try to play games. You don't know where the money went. Yes, you do. It's all a setup. All that money. Billions. You listen, y'all could have gave us billions. We know we're owed trillions, but they can't come here. We'll take a down payment. But you knew what you were doing, because the money wasn't even just for the Afghans, right? Was it? The money wasn't just for them. The money was for all of y'all. See, everybody don't know that this whole thing is crooked. Everybody don't know that this was a redistribution of wealth from white people to other white people and some other people of color. Y'all don't know that? A whole lot of missing money and missing weaponry. And we didn't leave the helicopters. We took the main equipment out. Hear me when I say this. Redistributions of wealth happen all the time. It's only a matter of how they happen. This one happened through war. Sometimes they happen through plague, pandemic, whatever. Sometimes they happen through just basic policy. Redistributions of wealth happen what, fam? All the time. This is one of them. That's what Afghanistan was. And I'm going to get to it. Let me just get to this last thing too. There's another little snippet, a little snippet that I want to read. The funding of Afghan refugees would support U.S. resettlement operations overseas and plans for as many as 65,000 vulnerable Afghans to arrive in the U.S. by the end of the month, according to the White House, and up to 30,000 additional Afghans over the next year. Now, I don't understand one thing. Y'all told me. See, the thing is, I was alive when September 11th happened. I mean, I was grown. Some people were young. I was grown. I was working on Capitol Hill, and I had to run out of the building. Because when they told me a plane just hit the tower and another plane, and there's a fire coming from the old executive office building, because that's where it looked where it's coming from, but it was actually coming from the Pentagon. I said, yeah, I need to get my little black butt out of here. And y'all crazy if y'all stick around. Something is going on. So I remember this, and I remember y'all saying you was going to get rid of the Taliban. George W. Bush with his little dumb self said, we going to get rid of the Taliban. We going to oust them because they are not fair and they are not good to women and children. And we're going to give them a Western democracy. You understand? We're going to give them something they ain't never had. We're going to give them freedom. And that's how they sold it to America. But none of that happened. We spent a bunch of money just to get what? We spent a bunch of money just to get refugees. Now, you should not leave those people out on their own after you done convinced them to go against their own country and the people who are going to run their country. I'm not saying that. I'm saying all these imperialist American adventures cost us a lot, including especially ADOS. You should have never been there in the first place. You knew you wasn't going to free nobody. As a matter of fact, that whole thing about we going to just free the people, that was a lie. WikiLeaks pointed it out. It was just a lie. Right? WikiLeaks, that time, they told the truth. They told the truth about the CIA. And the CIA report said you was going to use feminism to reduce Western opposition to military occupation in Afghanistan, 2010. Y'all went around and got all the little white women all hyped up off the idea that you was going to change something in Afghanistan, and they was going to change something for their sisters who was suffering in Afghanistan. That's what y'all did. And let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. This ain't the first time that feminism has been used to derail movements. Don't nobody want to talk about it. Don't nobody want to really hear it. But it's not. This is not the first time, you heard me right, that feminism has been used to derail movements. Tell me how, when Gloria Steinem got in there, she started talking about some stuff that didn't have nothing to do with Black America as a whole. It was, I am a woman, hear me roar. You too, my black sister. See, let me show you something. This is so odd to me. All this talk, we're going to free the Afghanistan. How long we been saying that? Look how long we been saying that. You see that right there? That's Bush signs. That's Bush signs. This is George W. Bush. Afghan Women and Children Relief Act. That's Kamala right there talking about pledges U.S. help for Afghan women and children. Child, if y'all ain't helped them in 20 years, you ain't gonna help them. Who are you talking to? Who you think crazy, me or you? You ain't gonna help them. It was never no plan to help them people. Y'all was never trying to help them. Y'all wasn't trying to help none of them people. Who you think? Like, I don't understand who people think they be playing with. Who y'all think y'all playing with that I believe, or Adolph's believe, we pretty quick with ours, that we believe that you was going to help some people. Y'all really thought we thought that? Well, we really was going to, what y'all really was going to do? Because it looks to me right here that y'all wasn't planning on doing none of that. Now, let me pull up something real quick. Hold on one second for me. Let me find something real quick, because I ain't got no time for this. Let me pull up. I ain't got no time for you all Adolph's are American imperialists. By what? You dodo bird. Ain't nobody ever did nothing like that. Let me just pull this up. Copy link. I'm gonna go right in there, right here, and then I'm gonna go right. Hold on one second. Ooh, that ain't right. Hold on. I don't know how many of y'all remember this, so I gotta go in here because I don't know how many of y'all remember what I'm about to put in here. Do y'all remember this? Y'all remember Bush signing he gonna help the Afghan and all the people? Y'all remember that? I'm just asking a question. Y'all remember when Bush went in there and said he was finna help the George W. Bush, the man who could barely whatever. Y'all remember he said that? You know what? It never happened. Never happened. Because if it had happened, let's go right back to this. We wouldn't be right here. So hold on. Let's do the math on this thing. Let's do the math on this thing. Y'all didn't help nobody. Taliban still took over. Osama bin Laden, whether he's dead or alive, probably dead, he still won. We, American people, especially Adolf, spent a bunch of money. Wait a minute. Bunch of money, didn't win, didn't help the people we said we was going to help and all this stuff. And everybody's kind of okay. Maybe my math ain't right. Everybody's kind of okay. And even when you go to other websites, they talking about stuff that ain't us. They talking about, what are they talking? Child, they still talking about Trump. I suppose it's just good for the ratings. This is all very odd. Listen, let me tell you something. This was the story. Just for those who were not there. I'm going to try to make it quick. This was the story about why and how Bush struck the Taliban and what he was going to do. Report 2001 on the Taliban's war on women. I'm pointing this out to you to let you know that America lies, in case you don't know. America tells things that are false. America says things that don't make no sense. And so that's why you have to own your own narrative. That's why we have to own our own history. They had Laura Bush out here talking about Taliban oppression of women. It was all a scam. And let me tell you, just like they told that story and didn't do nothing for them women, they will tell a different story about us. That's why Harvard matters. When you say, well, I don't understand, Yvette. I don't understand why y'all still messing with them. I don't understand. When you say that, you just sound like a moron. Because that's our narrative and they told a lie. We don't have any choice but to engage and say, listen, take that back. A lot of stuff happened, but take that back because that's not true. And we have proven unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, that that is a lie. You got to take that back because you have to own your narrative. Anybody who says, well, they ain't going to never take it back and I don't know why you going down that road. You should just cook some chickens. Anybody who goes down that path is just a coward. Anybody who tells you, well, they ain't going to never get that finished. They ain't going to never get that done. Listen, you're a weak person, a weak mind. I don't need you. I don't know who needs you. That's a mind only a mama could love. I don't know who needs you, but it ain't me. Because I believe in fighting giants. And I don't know how you can be ADOS and not believe in that. But if you're not there, that's fine. Go somewhere else. Godspeed. Fly, fly, Clady, fly, fly. That's what we are. What you want me to do? I'm just saying that's the way it is. And so I need everybody just to understand. I'm saying everything I said about Afghanistan to say that like it was a lie. Just like Harvard is telling a bunch of unsubstantiated stuff about us. You can't let that stand because it leads you into a very bad place for yourself and your people. You have to fight that. You have to say, no, you can't do that to us. I don't know who you can do that to, but it's not us. Don't make me no never mind, but it's not us. You can't do it to us. You have to say it. You have to make people know it. The Afghans right now are suffering. And listen, the only thing we got in exchange for all of that was just some Afghan immigrants. And I'm not blaming them for whatever they want to come. Listen, but that's all we got. We didn't get anything outside of that. We were supposed to be freeing people and doing all kind of wild stuff. We ain't getting none of that stuff people talking about. We just got additional immigrants. So wait a minute. This was a redistribution of money from the bottom to the top in terms of tax spending. And the only thing we got as individuals are people who are going to eventually be in the labor force after they get the money they're getting from the government to come here that Biden is putting out for them. We just get competition. How does that make sense for us? How does that help us? Oh, nobody got no answer. Okay, fine. You see, when I look at articles, when I look at these articles right here, like the Taliban's war against women, and when we go all the way back and we do all of this stuff, let me tell you something. And how feminism was used to get us to be okay with war. Well, it's all right if we're going to bomb them because we about to go over there and the women is going to be all right. They're not going to go through what they go through. America ain't never concerned about that. America's concerned about resources, wealth, hierarchies, all of that. But ain't nobody concerned about that. But okay. I want to just quickly Laura Bush, she's concerned about the women. No, you ain't, Laura. Get somewhere and hush. But we've kind of been here before, ain't we? No, Yvette, I don't think we have. We kind of been here before. But I want to let me just, before I go to when we were here last, I want to address something somebody said in the chat. Somebody in the chat said we can't vote our way to freedom. Well, I agree with that. A lot more has to do. You got to do a lot more than voting to get the freedom. Voting is a part of it, though, but you got to do a lot more than that. Just make sure before you say that, though, that you're doing the more that I'm talking about. All the activism, all the putting yourself at risk, all of the stuff that goes with that, make sure before you say that. That's all. Make sure before you crease your lips to say that. Make sure you understand everything that goes with freedom. Martin Luther King caught a bullet. Died. Murdered. So did Malcolm X. Fannie Lou Hamer didn't have no money, no nothing. Died. You can go look it up. Make sure that you're one of the ones who are willing to do all of that before you say, we just can't vote our way to freedom. What are you going to do? What are you willing to sacrifice? Just make sure we're on the same page about what your sacrifice looks like. Because I don't see a lot of sacrifice from a lot of people who like to talk. There's a lot of people that come over here from other YouTube shows. I'm not saying this person was one of them. They could have been perfectly above board. I'm just saying I'm tired of people that come from other YouTube shows that listen to con artists and say it's more to freedom. Y'all ain't going to bust a grape in a food fight, sweetheart. And we all know it. You ain't tough. You ain't strong. You ain't going to do nothing against white supremacy except donate to a GoFundMe or Indiegogo. I'm not going to get into it, but we know who you are. That might not be the person in the chat, but I just wanted to make sure that we all understand each other. Because I know weak when I see weak. I know people that have a big brother, big daddy, never had a dad in their family that see one on YouTube. I know my people ain't that. They resonate with my politics. Y'all resonate with something else. So before you get in my chat talking about what voting ain't going to do, make sure we clear on what you going to do. That's all. Now, on to the next thing as we're talking about feminism and how it was used in Afghanistan, and we're talking about how America lies. Let's go to one other thing really, really quickly. Y'all remember Gloria Steinem? The matriarch of feminism, modern feminism, says black women have always been more feminist than white women. Ooh-wee! She be acting up, don't she? Don't she be acting up? Now, here's the thing. We got to be very careful about people like Miss Steinem. Because we see how feminism was used in the Afghan war. It's been used before. I have a theory. I'm just going to put this theory out there. Y'all can do with it what you will. I have a theory that Gloria Steinem's version of feminism, not that black women don't need to be paid the same for the same. Nobody would disagree with nothing like that. What I'm saying is, I have a theory that feminism was used to supplant womanness of all races ahead of race. Because notice how it came right after the civil rights movement. So, like, if I was sitting back thinking, like, what do I do? Hold on 1 minute, what do I do? The black people the black people done got a bunch of bills. Remember how the women inserted themselves into the Civil Rights Act? It wasn't for them. Go read about it. I did a show. I talked about it. What does that look like? Well, let me say. Okay. Now, the black people, the ADOS here done got some stuff. What do I do about it? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. How do I deal with that? Well, maybe if I kind of tell the women it's me and them and not them and everybody else who's ADOS. It's just me and them together. Me and you. I can kind of cleave the men over there and have them be my sisters over here, but I'm never going to give them nothing but support. Now, some of them will rise up because they'll be tokens and I'll help them. But in terms of collective uplift, it won't happen. I'm tired of buying from that Afghan women scam because they didn't help y'all either. Afghan women to what they said with us. It's a dodge. I just have a theory. I don't got no proof. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what I believe. Right? Now let's go here for 1 second. Since we're here, I just want to point something out. We about to go to the end. Don't worry about Miss Steinem. Showgirls, Pastrami, and Candle, Gloria Steinem, New York. Let's go a bit further, shall we? Gloria Steinem started her career as a CIA operative. Got her break as a Playboy bunny. What? Married Christian Bale's father and now produces a show for the cable television channel Viceland. Home of balls, deep, action, Bronson, watches, and I don't know what kind of weird white people stuff this is, but I'll just leave it there. But here she is right here. She being a Playboy bunny. Now, I'm not going to follow no white Playboy bunny nowhere. You can't lead me down the street, child. I'm not going to do it. And this is a meeting, and I think that's is that Eleanor child Holmes Norton in there. And look at the other white woman looking at her with Gloria Steinem on the end. This is all very odd to me. That's y'all's queen. The CIA op, the spook. You see, part of the problem is here, and I'm almost done, fam, because I know I said I wasn't going to take as long. I just talk too much. But part of the problem, insofar as I can see it, even in this article, you hear black women say, oh, she's always been with me and she's been in solidarity. Oh, no, this article. Hold on. She always been there for me and in solidarity with me. We never really worked out what solidarity actually looks like. We didn't. I don't care who said we did. We didn't. We never worked it out. So solidarity could be something as simple as calling to give you, that's Anita Hill right here, calling to give you a word of encouragement. That's what happened right here. In the years since our first meeting, I have turned repeatedly to Gloria as I have navigated my nonlinear career in media. At one point, I was working at an online company. There was a white woman high up with a lot of power who was both racist and constantly trying to sabotage me. Happens all the time. At my wit's end, I emailed Gloria, who wrote back, don't you dare let her take your confidence or your peace of mind away for a millisecond. That's what Gloria emailed to me. She said, do not let this white woman take your confidence for a second. Now understand something. Fam, understand something. A white woman telling you that another white woman shouldn't take your confidence is not collective uplift. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And if you thought it was, I'm so sorry. That's not uplift. That's not politics. That's not even rights. You got a white woman who is behaving like your older sister. You should have called your mama. She would have told you the same thing. Don't pay that white woman no mind. She would have told you the same thing. Your sister, your brother, your auntie up the street, the woman that stay in the corner house, the candy lady. Everybody would have gave you that same advice. Don't you let that white woman get on your nerves. Same thing. That's what you're going to get. You giving this woman credit. Did she give you any wealth? Because understand, with us, it's not just, it's what we deal with is not just rights. Rights is a part of it. But it's also repaying us for the plunder. We need all of it. This is not solidarity for this white woman to tell you, don't let that woman take your confidence. Mwah. No. Why would you even share that with us? I've gotten far more encouragement from every black woman I've ever encountered in my life. You had to get it from the white woman. See, we don't know what solidarity is, and we don't know what solidarity looks like. I'm talking about rights. I'm talking about wealth. I'm talking about repayment of that wealth. I'm talking about not being a bottom caste. How can you help me with that? If you can't help me with that, I don't know what we're doing. If I'm not leading, let's talk black women to black women, black men to black men. If we're not leading our own movements, what are we doing? Don't mean we can't have allies and solidarity. We do and we should. But if we're not determining for ourselves what that agenda looks like, what are we doing? Sounds like we're following. I'm just saying. See, what happens is we become a vehicle for these folks. So they'll tell us, pull up your pants. And they go make money off of it. They'll tell us, oh, I am woman, hear me roar. While they live in Manhattan in a lucrative apartment and your life ain't changed. If you're a black woman in solidarity, hear me with this. How has your life and your people's lives as a group? Because if you change and your people don't change, you still in a mess. Because every time something happens, people gonna come to you. Hey, you know, we had a little bit of a problem. Waquan got locked up. We just thinking maybe you could put something on it. Because you got the most money. You have to have collective, or you're perceived to have the most money. Have to have collective uplift. Hey. We need a little bit of money. We got some other things going on. We just thought maybe you had a little something on it. Who? You. Your community didn't get uplifted by the spook, the spy, the CIA agent. Did you? Did you? No, it didn't get, but she was a real good ally. We didn't get no, like what you saying, but she was real. How was she good then? Maybe she came in for the same reason that the white women said what they said to the Afghanistan women. Maybe that's why that happened. Maybe they came in just to do something for America. Not you individually, for the country. There was a whole occupation that America had for 20 years. That was a redistribution of wealth, and that's why feminism was used. Maybe you ever think these people wasn't never, spooks can be very nice too. You ever think these people wasn't there for that? To help you? You ever think about that? No, well, every time I call her, she sound like, she really was kind of out and trying to look out for me. And she sound like, so? She can pat you on the head and tell you everything gonna be all right. What that mean? Well, I just think you being too hard on her. No. America's gonna do what America's gonna do. You have to be smarter than that. You have to be smart enough to see when somebody like her comes in your orbit. Oh, I got your number. Okay, if you are sincere, what does solidarity look like? Okay. What are we going to do? What are you going to advocate for me? Now, listen, I don't want pictures. I'm not interested in all of this. Let's talk reparations. Let's talk redistribution. Let's talk a black agenda. Let's talk about what you're going to do to not just women going to make good money too. No. It didn't happen. Let's talk about what actually should happen. And so my point here, honestly, is to kind of talk about what the narrative looks like and why we have to control it. Because we have to control the narrative. If not, people forget that Hurricane Ida ever happened. People forget, oh no, it wasn't as bad as Katrina. It was actually okay. And they're doing much better. And they move on. If you don't control your narrative and your politics, Gloria Steinem comes in and we don't talk about civil rights no more. We talk about how the white woman is oppressed too. Hey. You have to control your story. We have to control our narrative. That's something that absolutely has to happen. And if you don't understand that, I don't know what you're doing in this space. Move out and let somebody else do it. So we got a lot of good people who can be doing movement work. If you can't do it, and if you're not fit mentally or physically or whatever, move out and let somebody else do it. Because if not, people are going to come in here and dupe us every time. We went from civil rights movement to feminism, and nobody knew what happened. Everybody was just looking like, what? I thought we was just king got murdered. I thought we was, and all of a sudden now we talking about what's going on, and we the same as white women and men, and the men have been, and the women over here, and the men over here. We don't know what the heck happened. I tell you what happened. Gloria Steinem, CIA happened in your movement while you was talking crazy. Afghani women, I thought y'all was gonna free us from the Taliban. All of them, they still here. They got more weaponry and left with more. What happened? CIA happened over there. Happened over here first. What happened over there? And if you're not up on it, if you don't know what's going on or how it's going on, you're gonna be in trouble. And we all gonna be in trouble. That's why narratives matter. That's why controlling our agenda matter. That's why controlling our politics absolutely matters. So I'm gonna leave it at that, fam. I'm gonna set up the phones. But I'm going to be tinkering while it's happening. So y'all let me know if y'all can hear people better or worse as I'm tinkering. I'm trying to get it right. I'm going to get it set up. So when I bring it in, let me know, hey, that's better. Just put it in the chat. So when I'm tinkering over here, I know exactly what's going on. So give me a couple seconds. Set up the phones. I'll be back and we will have the conversation. Always, like always. All right, fam, we are back. Now, I'm going to go to the calls, and I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be tinkering while they're talking. So, just know that. Hold on. All right. I'm going to be tinkering while they're talking. So, I am going now to my first caller. I am going now to 504. 504. I'm coming to you. And don't you hold on? Let me set this up, family. Y'all know I have to set stuff up. I'm sorry. I want to set up something so I can test it while I'm talking. You have to do these things because everybody y'all deserve a good quality show. And shoot, it got to be what it's got to be. So let me set this up. Now y'all tell me if it ain't right, and if it's wrong, and if y'all don't say nothing, then it's not my fault no more. It's y'all's fault. So 504, I'm coming to you. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello. How you doing? This is third time calling from New Orleans. I called your show before, I think last year, and I was the one that had pushed you to get on Fort Lines Radio with Jamal Thomas and Shane Stranahan.
Okay.
Which is a DC radio program that you was on last year.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm a New Orleans resident, and the poverty down here in Louisiana, period, not just the city, it's terrible. Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, we got, serious poverty problems, and also we got the homeless problems. Now, even before the pandemic hit, then the COVID-19 passes, and then the Hurricane Ida hit.
Mm-hmm.
Before that hit, we was a tourist city, right?
Mm-hmm.
Minimum wage $7.25 an hour. People not really making enough money because you got to pay all these insurances, flood insurance, hurricane insurance, and you got waiter jobs, bartender jobs, waitress jobs, working in the hotel industry. So we depend on foot traffic from other states, primarily from the other southern states.
Mm-hmm.
So, pandemic hit. So the pandemic hit last year. Businesses started closing because they couldn't really open because you had the lockdowns. So businesses went out of business.
Mm-hmm.
Other businesses survived. Then you had the COVID-19 passport that came around, and that limited traffic coming from other states, coming from the city, because people don't want to show the COVID-19 passport.
Mm-hmm.
So you had more businesses to start closing. Then you had Ida hit last week, and I stayed in the city because I didn't have that much money. I'm on a fixed income disability from VA.
Mm.
And my mother and some of my other family members, they doing better than me, so they left. I live with my parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hurricane came. It came with a lot of wind and some rain, but thank God it kind of it didn't really, it flooded, but it didn't really damage things that much. But I mean, things was damaged, but Katrina was worse. Ida was bad too. It did. Compared to Katrina, it's like, the thing is this: when you throw in the pandemic, the COVID-19 passports, dealing with people's finances, going into savings just to stay afloat with their businesses or just to keep their homes, then you had an Ida hit. People, it broke a lot of people down here. You got reports of people losing their homes because they couldn't afford the insurance, the flood insurance or the wind damage insurance to cover their roofs or their houses. So they're losing their houses. They're taken to the streets now. Well, they got to, buy intent, they add into the homeless population.
Mm-hmm.
And the pandemic thing, people lost their jobs because, they're working at certain hotels,
mm-hmm.
and you didn't have football games coming here, so, they was laid off, and the unemployment just ran out 2 months ago, right? So
yep.
It's not good.
Yep.
And a lot of businesses down here in New Orleans is black owned, and a lot of black owned businesses went under. A lot of people that own commercial property, little strip malls, small malls that's on the corner that have the barber shop, the hairdresser, and the pet stores. Well, some of those little corner commercial properties owned by black people, because of what happened with the pandemic, they losing it. They're losing those commercial properties and also those apartment complexes that they own to BlackRock and other hedge funds And Chase Bank and Citibank that's coming in, swooping in, taking that property and homes from them, left and right. These people didn't receive any help. And also your people that's written in,
I said, well, I was messing with my volume while I was messing with you. But I want you to say a little bit about that too, because I don't think a lot of our people know about the fact that hedge funds are buying up a lot of these places.
Yes, I'm trying to think. Okay, you have this guy that maybe one day you can hook up with, and he can break things down. You're dealing with the hedge funds with BlackRock and these other hedge funds. His name is V, the Gorilla Economist. He's conservative, but he will give you the lowdown on what's going on. Every time they issue these lockdowns, that mean rent and money with people that own these McDonald's and these little small restaurants, income is not coming into them, which means they can't pay off that loan that they got from Citibank or Chase Bank or the other banks, right? So what they do is they come in to swoop down either them or the hedge funds like BlackRock, which is making off like bandits right now, BlackRock is. And they bought these properties for pennies on a dollar. And they kick out these small business owners, black, white, Latino, and they take over the properties. And they're not just doing it in New Orleans and southern Louisiana. They're doing it throughout the country. You know, the lockdowns is actually benefiting the bank, is benefiting the hedge funds, right? So if you own two properties, Ms. Brown, if you own like two properties, right? One property got 5 houses on, and you depending on those mortgages to be paid, because you got to pay the bank, because you bought them homes, you flipped the homes, you still got to pay on them homes. Now, because you got the lockdown, there's people being protected, right? They can't pay you. They're being protected. Now, I don't want nobody to get kicked out their homes either, but at the same time, it falls on you, and the banks come in, they take your homes from you that you work hard to get. Instead of Congress, which they are sitting on their hand, they constantly trying to get the Supreme Court to do their job. But what Congress should be doing, creating laws to protect property owners, homeowners, and also people that's written as well, right? From the banks. But what they're doing, they're creating a class warfare between your middle class and your lower middle class, right?
Okay.
Nobody's not talking about BlackRock and the hedge funds. Nobody's talking about the banks. But they're creating a schism between the two classes, which they shouldn't be doing. So you have AOC, you have which are in them all more. You got all them talking all that smack, talking about you stop the eventually, but not near one of them talking about coming up with a proposal, which they have to vote the votes in the Congress to pass something dealing with protecting people from being kicked out, and also protecting landowners, property owners, farm owners from losing their property as well. They're not saying anything about that. Even Republicans will jump on the bill too. So it's a game being played. You got these corporatists, it's getting richer and richer and richer and richer every single day. The Democrats is benefiting these people, and also the Republicans is benefiting BlackRock and all the hedge funds. This is not being told. That's why you're seeing a lot of people going under. You got something going on with the supply chain, but you don't have certain type of products that's in what you call it, the coffee shops like Starbucks and other things like that, because you have companies going under that went under last year, and trucker companies that used to be around, people don't understand, they don't have the clientele, they don't have the employees anymore to deliver the goods anymore. right? Because people are being left in the shuffle, losing their homes, losing their businesses. This is what Fox News and CNN, MSNBC is not saying. You know, they're not telling you about what's really going on. That your property, the middle class is basically being pushed out to a point where the next 10 or 20 years, if we keep on going this way, you're just going to have poor people and super rich people like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Yes, black people is going to suffer first before everybody, then Latinos, Native Americans, black people, Native Americans, then Latinos, then white people. But the thing is this, until you force the hand of the Republicans and the Democrats to write bills to protect the low-income people and the middle-class people and stop having us fight each other between right and left, or middle class against lower class. Well, if they can write a bill that's sensible to protect us all, then if that bill don't come around, then you're gonna see lots of people being evicted, and you're gonna see just like what's that guy name from Europe? I forgot his name. Talking about you won't own anything. You know, you just be written for the rest of your life. you be happy. I forgot his name.
Well, a lot of
that's what they're doing.
A lot of people are catching on to that. Like you see, when you see these young people depressed, it's not just because they messed up. No, they see the game, and they know that they're never gonna have nothing. Like that's just what it is. But I want to thank you, fam. I appreciate you calling in.
Anytime, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you, fam. Going to 407. 407, what's your name? Where you calling from? And what's on your mind? You there, 407?
John Quill, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, fam. What's going on?
Oh my God, I'm talking to Yvette Cornell.
What's up, fam?
I just want to say, what's going on? This JQ Americana. And as far as Larry Elder and all, as a matter of fact, I read a lot of your books. Let me just get this out of the way. I got all the knowledge, but I can't speak. I'm from the projects. I read over 200 books, but when it comes to speaking and talking and trying to get my point across, I may fail in that area right there. I really just called to say thank you for all the game that you gave me. It's helped me so much in my life. I've been listening and following you for a very long time, and I really, really just wish. No, this is me giving you a hug right here, Yvette. I'll probably never speak to you again. I'm giving you a hug right now. Everything I love.
I appreciate you.
I don't have too much to say about Democrats and all that. I'm following you. Whatever you say, I'm on go, and that's just that.
I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate you, fam. And I appreciate you for reading them books.
All right.
Because a lot of people won't read them books. I mean, a lot of people talk about,
Exactly. Every time I mention a book to somebody, they it's something else. It's everything else. But these books got me more money. These books have helped me get into a position where I'm no longer where I used to be. You understand? I done got myself married. Everybody got my last name around me. Everybody that I look at is better. And you have a lot to do with that. And I just appreciate that.
I appreciate you, fam. Thank you so much for calling in, fam. And let me just, much love, fam. Much love. And I think I'm coming in too high, and everybody else coming in. God damn it! But anyway, fam, listen. Let me tell y'all something. Like this right here. Like, let me just say this. This is a collective. Like this is I know why. But it should be. But this is a collective effort. It just is what it is. And I just appreciate, like, you don't have a movement if you don't have everybody. You're not just supposed to have, we have the academics. We have the learned people. That's what we have, and you don't have it. You have the very ordinary people. It don't work that way. Like, that's just the thing. it don't work that way. You have to have the people, and the people ain't just one kind of people. The people is everybody. Also, you so snotty, you don't want everybody. You just want the people. He's a doctor, and this one over here is an attorney. And so I'm just happy. Like, I'm just happy that so many people are like, he done put this, and that's his family now. He my name, them his babies. He got you. That's what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to have a family, live a life, pass down stuff. That's love. So I just want to say I appreciate him. I appreciate y'all. That is what it is. I'm going to the next caller. I am going to going to 313. 313. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello.
Hey.
Hello to you.
Yep.
Hey, my name is Jalen. I'm calling from Detroit. I'm a student at Xavier University of Louisiana, so I was in New Orleans during Hurricane Ida.
Okay.
And I just wanted to just kind of talk about what I saw in Louisiana during my time there.
Okay.
You know, in New Orleans, it's like it doesn't take a scientist to really show the inequalities and, you know, between the rich and the poor, and you could really see the racialized poverty, especially in the city of New Orleans. And I'm sorry, you know, this is my first time calling.
Take your time. You good?
But you know, during the hurricane, the only people that really could get out were the people that had money. Like, I stayed during the hurricane because I couldn't afford a $400, $500 airline ticket at the drop of a dime, you know what I mean? And eventually I was able to get out of the city, thanks to my school and thanks to the people, Miss Christie, down at Xavier, who arranged evacuations for us. But there are so many people in the city that are stuck. And they're stuck in the heat, they're stuck in no power, and they're stuck dealing with the damage from the storm. And it's like there's no one there to help them. Like, the way that the government is, that we learn that the government is supposed to help us. So I think just really look forward, just look at, as we you know, as they try and wash this storm away, look at how New Orleans builds back, and look at who is able to build back successfully and who is not. Because you still see the damage from Katrina in the wards, in the black parts of the city. You see the poverty still there.
Well, you know, it's funny. I was listening to a podcast, and they were saying, like, the people who are doing well are the people who were doing well before, right? Exactly. The people who are doing bad are the people who were doing bad before.
Yeah, and you can trace that back years and years and decades. You can trace who's doing good and who's doing bad. And you can also see how the government, how you know, from the state on down to the local government, how that hands-off approach kind of fuels the inequality and allows the rich to get richer and the poor to stay poor.
Absolutely.
You know, while I was out there on campus, I was talking to some people in the neighborhood down at Xavier, and they were telling me they don't have any light, any food. They don't have nothing. And, you know, it's 105 degrees outside.
Yep.
You know, and it's gonna bring our justice claim really to the forefront, because you're gonna see people just in pure desperation, like we did see in Katrina. You know?
And what happens when climate change throws all of that even higher, right? What happens with that?
Right. You know, look at Cancer Alley. You know, not too far outside of New Orleans. And, look at the chemical plants. How did the hurricane, and that pollution, how is that going to affect those communities?
Absolutely.
But this just going to make everything a lot more clear, and it's just going to make our fight even. It's going to make it that much more worth fighting for. So I just want to say thank you.
Well, thank you, fam. And I think
for clarifying the fight. I try and talk to people. I try and talk to my classmates, my roommates, my friends on campus all the time about reparations. I bring it to the classroom, and I bring it everywhere I can because this is important to me. And because I see it every day, I see how my people can't survive without money. In America, you need money to save your life.
you need money for everything. Like there's no way. There's no way. It's such a rich country. There's no way. You need money for everything. What are you gonna put people? I don't need. I can just no. If you could have done it, you would have done it. Like they set it up so we couldn't do it. Stop talking to me. That's just what it is. But thank you, fam. I appreciate it because I appreciate these. I appreciate these.
My nervousness.
No, it's fine.
Tom and everybody.
It's fine.
Y'all just keep doing what y'all doing, and we gonna make it happen.
Appreciate you, fam. Thank you so much for calling in. And I do think that this is a moment, right, where it's all coming. It's all coming. We see it. If you don't see it, you're blind. It's here now. And the cliff that we talked about, that I talked about, that Antonio talked about, it's here now. And if you look at the people around you, you'll see them either falling over that cliff or trying to balance themselves. And the question becomes, what are we going to do about it? As a group. How are we going to coalesce? That's the issue. So anyway, I'm going to my next caller. I'm going to 850. 850, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Thanks for taking my call, Sister Yvette. Brother Kayvon Johnson, calling from Pensacola, Florida. Been missing your sister like crazy.
Appreciate you, fam.
Let me dive right in. I want to go back to speaking on the Katrina thing, and I mentioned this before in your show. Laura Bush, right after Katrina, she was at the Shreveport airport. She had her staff with her. She got a little emotional. She started speaking about how our people, ADOS was placed in particular places around New Orleans on purpose so that if something happened, it would fall more on them or I should say us, than any of the rest of them, as a part of a plan. It was set in motion that way. I'm getting a little bit upset. I just turned 49. Matter of fact, I spent my birthday over there on the Snap Fingers, right off the Wesley Chapel.
There you go.
Yes, ma'am.
In DeKalb County, you was.
Over there in the 90s. I'm sorry.
That's how you was in DeKalb County. You was over there. That's where you was.
Yes, ma'am. I used to stay down in the Snap Fingers. I was going to go over there to that mortuary school. Would have been good, but I couldn't stop crying at funerals. I love my people.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
I'm going to cry.
No, you be traumatized every funeral.
Anyway, let me get back on task. Seriously, I'm getting a little bit fed up with this whole. I got it. What they're doing. They're using the baby boomers a little bit to continue on with that. Well, you gotta, pull yourself up out of bootstraps. You gotta work hard and whatnot. But it's not quite matching that time of day for that argument to fit into this culture and argument for today. So there's a disconnect in between the young children, or I shouldn't even say children, I should say the 20 and 30-year-olds versus the people that are in their 60s and 70s. And it's a real bad disconnect there. Plus, they keep throwing in this thing about get the bag. So, I understand when you say it's a collective movement for us, not such an individual thing. However, the training that's being produced out here does focus more on the individual. Get the bag. I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to start a business. I got a business. I'm the only employee, but I got a business that kind of distance themselves away from the overall argument that we are trying to put forth on, or mainly you and Tone definitely are trying to put, and maybe more, that are trying to put on the table on our behalf. I want to say I thank you. I went to school. I majored in American history. I'm a history buff. You did political science. I want to say thank you, because really, you didn't even have to do this. You could have settled and finagled into different things if you would just really study a bag. You could have did God knows what just to get a bag and never even touch this subject. So I want to say thank you straight from the bottom of my heart. I'm 49 years old. I know what I'm talking about. I know my family history. I've told you before, I'm down here in Cottonland. I'm real close to Alabama. Yeah. I was sharing a lot with the gentleman that was speaking from New Orleans. I'm just 300-some miles over to his right, and who also deal with hurricanes. In 2004, when Ivan hit us, this is the year before Katrina, when Ivan hit us here in Pensacola, I'm not bragging. I just want to tell you what it was. When it hit us, with me living in Pensacola, first time ever experiencing a hurricane on the Gulf Coast like that, it was a pretty all right experience. Here's why. George Bush was the president, and his brother was Jeb Bush was the governor, right? So things were really, really speedy fast as far as I live in a more Republican-like type of atmosphere here, and it was there. It was like, boom, president, you got his brother, the governor.
Well, his brother don't want to mess up. His brother don't want to mess up either.
He was moving.
Next
year came when Katrina, I lost my job. I was just shopping at a little simple Waffle House, and when Katrina hit New Orleans, and a lot of people that used to come into the Waffle House, I don't want to get into any name calling and all of this, but they didn't look like me. They definitely wasn't Adolf. And, and they kept making these comments of, if these people try to leave out of New Orleans, we're going to do this. We're going to cut the roads off. We're going to do this and all this carrying on and whatnot. It upset me, and I wound up, really kind of doing what I normally do, open my mouth up and spoke out and, lost my job. But the nature of it was just so sickening. And I can't understand, how, I just cannot wrap my head around what the problem is as far as us having our people on board for this position, if nothing else. Fine, after we're done with this, those are the ones that want to be Christian, Hebrew, Native. They can go back and finish doing that. But again, as a historian, if I could place your people below the 3630 parallel line, up north too, but mainly my main focus would be on the 3630 parallel line of the South. If you could draw your great-grandparents, your grandparents, your parents, maybe back to, or just your booty right now in the South, and you're actually having to, jump through all these different hoops in the communication with our people, even some of the ones that got these little YouTube shows and whatnot. How dare them bring your name up and put you in some, mess? I just cannot believe that you're actually trying to fight for them, for me, as well as for yourself. I cannot wrap my head around that.
Well, grifters gonna grift, fam. Grifters gonna grift. They don't care about what happens to you, what they bring your name up in. They they gonna grift. And so if you get in the way of a good grift, child, they gonna find a way to butter that biscuit.
I really got in a lot of trouble on this one sister. Why she even bring your name up? I understand the affiliation between maybe her boss and who thought they might have been your boss, even though I think you was the one pretty much running it once I really got down and really studied into that situation. I'm like, yeah, man, that sister was really running that situation, but the brother had another agenda. But when that sister a couple of weeks ago brought your name up after you had did that show with MARC and whatnot, I just couldn't wrap my head around it to understand what was supposed to be.
But here's the thing Here's the only thing you got to focus on. Fam, here's the only thing you got to focus on. I just want you to focus on this. The sister that you probably talking about, fam. Let me just say this, because I hear all kind of stuff, is irrelevant. See, don't get mad or upset at irrelevant people. People who are never going to do nothing. They always going to be, listen, my main job is to push out of YouTube into a real political space where we can do real politics. There are people in this YouTube thing who they want to be here when they go gray. Some of them are already gray, but they dye their hair, right? And they play young. We know who they are. We know who you are. That little gray dye, that little black dye ain't doing nothing for you. They are fine being here at 70, saying, hey, we gonna get it, and we gonna do it, and we gonna have everything, and we gonna get. These people are irrelevant. They're not political. Never going to do anything political. They would be more than happy bumping their gums here at 75. I don't want to be here. I want to be here at 75. I want to be somewhere saying, yeah, we really got the first reparations bill, and we got it done, and the next generation is going to have to carry it, and they're going to have to make sure that they get more outlays and more money. That's what I want to be. I don't want to be still talking to everybody on YouTube about what's supposed to happen. Some of these people are happy with that because they make good money at it. They're not concerned. So this person is irrelevant. Sometimes I look at people and I say, would this person ever be equipped to be having a conversation on Capitol Hill? No. Would they ever want to have a conversation on Capitol Hill? No. They wouldn't. They're irrelevant. They don't matter. And that's how I feel about them. So I don't get upset at people who don't matter. I look at the real demons. I look at the real people who I got to fight. I'm not upset at people who don't matter. And most of these people don't matter.
I'll end with this. You said it best. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't watch so many of your videos, Sister Yvette. You'll think that you're a professor and I'm getting ready for a final exam. Just studying, just going back into some of your old videos and whatnot that leads us up to this point. But you are absolutely right. Some of the people that might have a few little numbers, I want to get into it. I want to complement what you're doing from a more of a historical and genealogy standpoint. However, those people that are out talking, you're right. That material that they're putting out, which is bull crap. The material that they're putting out, they could never turn around and cover that up and then go stand in front of Congress. You could, though. You could. They can't go stand in front of Congress and present an argument with all that crazy material out there.
And let me just.
Your time is always with me.
I appreciate you, fam. Thank you so much for calling in, and I want to say something else to people. I appreciate you, fam. And let me just say one other thing. Not only could they not do it, they don't want to. Half these people you talking to, they don't want to go and talk to no Congress persons. They just listen. I want all my money from whatever projects I do. I want my YouTube money. I want every kind of money because I want to live good. These people ain't trying to do none of this stuff. These people ain't trying to talk to nobody. They ain't got no relationship. They ain't trying to build no relationships. They trying to just talk on YouTube and tell you, yeah, this thing I just did, fam. We really got it together. Like, that's what they do. It's a con. So I'm not some woman or whatever on you. I'm not afraid. Listen, go run your con. You talking about me because you got to talk about me. Because ain't nobody talking about you. Ain't nobody concerned about you. Ain't nobody concerned about what you doing, what you bring to the table. You talking about me because you need to. That's fine. I'm never going to talk about you, though. I don't care. I've moved on. We got a whole org we running with whole teams and different things that are trying to do stuff for collective uplift. I ain't got to be concerned with one-legged butterflies. I don't. So anyway, go to my next caller. I'm going now to 215. 215, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Yeah, what's going on, Yvette? How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Good to have you back. You know, I'm excited. Glad to see you back up there again.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you for coming through to see me back up again.
I just wanted to touch on how you spoke about feminism con, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that was always funny to me about the Afghanistan situation. Is when they're like, oh, well, they're trampling on women's rights and they're denying women certain opportunities. And I'm like, well, opportunities for what? There's no opportunities in Afghanistan for anybody. Like, it's like a completely impoverished, failed state of a country. Like, what opportunities are, like, in America, right? You can deny a woman the right to work at McDonald's, be an electrician, be an engineer. None of those opportunities exist in Afghanistan for anyone. So how are they denying women's rights when there's no rights?
Mm. Well, and the other question is, how do you fight for your own rights? How do you fight for your own rights? Like, see, the problem with America, we like to go into places and tell them what to do, or pretend to tell them what to do while we get the money. And it's also funny when people say, oh, ADOS are imperialists. I have never supported America going into another country and telling them what to do. I have supported us not destabilizing other countries and allowing them to decide for themselves what is best for themselves. Because when America go in, America ain't going in to kind of try to do nothing wonderful for nobody. They going in for resources. They going in to redistribute wealth to contracts and other people. Like, I told people when that happened, like, don't buy into that. Like, why didn't they just route the Taliban out and then leave? Because that's what was happening before Iraq. Y'all don't remember? It's just all very odd. It's just all very odd to me. But I'll let you finish, Carl. I'm sorry.
I know that they've been a lot of refugees in Philly, and I know that we have an opioid crisis in Philly that rivals anywhere in the nation, and I can see it getting a lot worse because there's a lot more plugs coming over here now.
It is what it is. Thank you, fam. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you, fam. I appreciate it. You do. You have a nice night as well. You have a nice night as well. It's a wild stuff going on around here. I'm going to 336. 336, I'm coming to you. What's your name? Where you calling from and what's on your mind? Some calls calling in hot and loud. Some calls calling in a little bit. Whew. What I tell you. 336, you there? Child 336 done went somewhere.
Yeah, here.
Oh, okay. How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm Al out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I was just, wanting to implore everyone, to create a black voting bloc, because I think creating a black voting bloc would address, our issues with reparations, because we were 40% of the national, the voting populace that voted in Joe Biden, and we have power, and we can use that power and leverage for our own, cause and purpose, reparations. And I'm wondering, why don't we create a private institution where we organize and we speak the power and we let them know that they can't have our votes without something in exchange for it.
Well, that's the whole point of ADOS, the foundation. That's the whole point, because we have all these people who are creating organizations to kind of, or projects to kind of just benefit themselves, but they're as sort of a substitute for politics. So I'm going to do this thing, and it's going to be a substitute for politics. Or I'm going to do this thing and take all this Black Lives Matter money or whatever, and I'm not going to tell you where it goes, and the politics is not going to change. So the whole point of what we're doing in terms of an org is to apply that pressure to get the policies that we know that we deserve.
Now, is there like a registry? How do we demonstrate our power within an election and show that we're
Well, that's all about strategy.
have to negotiate with us?
Yeah, that's all about strategy. But up until one thing that we haven't done is kind of apply that strategy. What happens every election with us is that we say, well, we really want a bunch of stuff. But guess what? The Republicans ain't going to give it to us, so we got to vote for Democrats, then hold them accountable. You don't hold anybody accountable after the election. And that's the stupid stuff that happens every year. You see, every 4 years, you see all these people now. Well, I didn't know Biden. He just, shucky ducky, quack, quack, quack. I didn't know he was going to be all man. We're going to get him next election. That's not how it happens. And sometimes we have to be willing, and that's why we was talking about down ballot last time. You have to be willing to take a little bit of pain for the progress. Pain for progress. You have to be willing to exchange that. right? So, yeah, I didn't support voting for Trump or Biden because I didn't believe either one of those people earned our vote. And people are like, well, it's going to be messed up. It's going to be messed up then for a while. But the next time they come back around, they'll know, you know what? I got to deal with those people seriously because the last time they didn't vote for me and I lost. And so we have to be willing to exchange pain for progress. That has to happen. And that's the beginning of something. But it absolutely has to happen.
Right, but where are the organizations like the local chapters in North Carolina and South Carolina, all these places, to organize people and like campaigns where we have a list with people's numbers, where we send out alerts, call your area like politician for support for real reparations, not just HR 40, which is just a stall tactic, really.
Well, the thing is, you have to be patient. All that stuff is coming, but when you're building an organization, this is what I've been dealing with the past few months. You have to build the foundation right, or the same thing will happen that happened to an extent with us the last time. People build stuff and they don't have, they don't have the organizational framework. Or they don't have the politics, or they don't have the ability to influence lawmakers. And we haven't taught them or given them the skills that they need to be able to do what they need to do. So there's a lot of foundational work in building the organization before you get to the point of saying you're a chapter, you're a chapter, you're a chapter, right? Because you have to have all the training set up. Because you can't just have a chapter, they go out there and you say, well, go do what you're going to do. And they go out there and do something that's detrimental. And they don't create relationships or improve relationships, or they can't communicate their platform. So all of these things are a part of it. All of those things are what we're building. But that kind of thing, when you're building something that's good and that's going to be able to sustain itself over time, it takes time to build. And that's where we are.
And what's the goal as far as the launch and the rollout of all of this?
Well, if you come into the conference, or if you, and I appreciate you calling in, I want to thank you for calling in. But if you go into the conference, if you're going to be around the conference, you will know what the goal is for the rollout. So that's coming soon. If you're going to be there, you will know what the goal is for the rollout. So fam, it's coming soon in terms of information about how we're going to roll this whole thing out. I'm going to one last call before I end it for the night. We're about an hour and 44 minutes in. I said I was going to keep it short. So I'm going to keep it about 8 minutes shorter than usual. I'm going now to 469. 469, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
This is D calling from Dallas. How you doing, Sister Yvette?
Good. How you?
Good. First time caller. Man, I heard a lot of the young guys calling in, so it's kind of encouraging.
Good.
Kind of made me want to call in. I kind of want to frame this from a different perspective. So I film a lot of high school sports. A lot of our children play sports. We're very much into it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I feel so sad about, sister, is the job opportunities for these babies. Because many of them think they're going to the NFL. Many of them think they're going to college. That's not even true.
No.
But it's that when they get through out of high school, if we don't fight, I don't think even the babies realize they're not going to have much of an opportunity when they get out. And that's why I think the work that you're doing is so important, because some of the youth may not even realize it, but we're fighting for something that's much bigger than ourselves. So I just want to kind of frame that in a different perspective, because I see so many of the youth and they're so into it and they're so, I'm going to make it to the NFL, and it's like, well, what if you don't? And it's just a sad reality, because to me, many of them, they're not even looking at anything else. And that's just kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna make it here or bust, right? And it's just like,
Wow,
and well, you have to think about it. What white people don't do that. Like, I'm gonna go be an engineer. I'm gonna go be a technician. My daddy got this. I'm gonna go do this. Like, we're like, I'm gonna break my body to find some wealth. And if it doesn't happen, that's my only gain. So if it doesn't happen, I don't know what I'm gonna do, because I have invested everything in this, and my parents, my mom and them, everybody come to the games. So what happens if it doesn't happen? And nobody really deals with that part.
And you know, another part that's so sad is, and I don't know if it's subconsciously or what, but like, I see a lot of the coaches, a lot of people kind of like preaching down to the kids, y'all do this and y'all do that. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but it's like, it's easy to preach down at him as a coach when you're making $150,000 and your baby is studying at 10 grand. But it's like, well, I guess what I'm saying is even the people who are around the kids, the coaches and so on and so forth, are so disattached from reality of these super situations that it's like, it's almost like a joke. It's like, man, you're preaching down to him not knowing really his economic position, where he's coming from. And it's just sad to see. I just say keep up the fight with you and Tone and the rest of the ADOS family. If not for us, for the babies. Now, that's the perspective I want to leave you.
Absolutely, fam. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you. And I think that is why we got to do it. And I think, you shouldn't do nothing for yourself. Not as a grown person. You're too grown to be doing stuff just for yourself. People get, I'm just going off and take a bunch of trips. This is not your life no more. It's the life of the other people. So I want to thank everybody for calling in. I'm going to end it right there. Hopefully we made a little bit of progress with the phone lines. I mean, with the volume. But we're going to get it right. We're going to stay here. We're going to finish it, and we're going to get it right eventually. I ain't going to be right now. We're going to get it right. Now, hush. No, I was just playing. Like somebody's mama. We're going to do that now. Hush. Anyway, fam, I want to, yeah, they try to, like somebody said, they try to commit suicide. If you all haven't been watching the suicide rate against young black, the young, youth, you haven't been paying attention. These babies are killing themselves. And so I don't think people understand when we talk about going over a cliff. It's not just financial, it's emotional, it's psychological, it's everything. People want a meaningful life, want to be able to do something with life, and not just see everybody else be able to do something that we cannot do, right? And that we don't do. It's innate in us to want a meaningful life. And we deserve it. We built this country. And so I just don't understand how people don't understand. This is it. This is ball game. If you don't understand this is ball game, you don't understand this is ball game. But you not understanding that this is ball game don't mean that this ain't ball game. And that you need to pick up a bat or a ball or whatever we playing. I don't know whether you playing first or third or whatever. What you playing shortstop? You playing, get out there and with your glove. People want to act like they don't know how to play ball. Yes, you do. But anyway, fam, I will see you all tomorrow. Please hit the like button. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. I saw some of y'all unsubscribed like I wasn't coming back. I said I was coming back. I told you. I saw you. Ooh, sneaky unsubscribe. Yvette, she gone. She gone for good. Please, if you unsubscribe, please subscribe back. Please check your subscriptions. Please hit that bell so that you get notifications, all of that. My goodness. Anyway, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Y'all take care. Have a good night. Finish your libation, whether it is chamomile, water, or something extra. Please finish your libation or whatever it took for you to get through the show. And we will talk later on, fam. So, see you tomorrow. Be easy breezy. Take care of yourself.
you.